Imagine this. You are lost in the woods, the sun is setting and the temperature is dropping, you have no cell service and your supplies are limited. Panic starts to set in, but you remember your training. You know that staying calm and using your skills is the key to survival. One of the first things you need to do is build a shelter. A good shelter will protect you from the elements, keep you warm, and provide a sense of security. You gather branches, leaves, and any other materials you can find. But how do you make sure your shelter stays together? This is where knot tying becomes essential. Next, you need to secure your gear. Whether it's tying your backpack to a tree to keep it off the ground or securing items to your makeshift shelter, knowing how to tie strong, reliable knots is crucial. A poorly tied knot can come undone, leading to lost or damaged gear, which can be disastrous in a survival situation. You might even need to make a trap to catch food. In a survival scenario, finding food can be one of the biggest challenges. Setting up a trap requires precision and skill, and the right knots can make all the difference. A well-tied trap can catch small game, providing you with much-needed sustenance. What skill will help you do all of these? Knot tying. It's a fundamental skill that can be the difference between life and death in the wilderness. Whether you're building a shelter, securing your gear, or setting up a trap, knowing how to tie the right knot is invaluable. Knowing how to tie good knots is important for survival. It's not just about knowing a few knots. It's about understanding which knot to use in different situations. Each knot has its own strengths and weaknesses, and knowing when and how to use them can make your life much easier and safer in the wild. Knots help us build shelters that can protect us from the weather. A well-tied knot can hold your shelter together even in strong winds and heavy rain. It can keep your tarp secure and your structure stable, providing you with a safe haven in the wilderness. They can keep our food and supplies off the ground and away from animals. Hanging your food in a tree using the right knots can prevent animals from getting to it, ensuring that you have enough supplies to last until you find your way out or help arrives. In a real emergency, knowing how to tie the right knot could even save your life. Whether it's creating a makeshift stretcher to carry an injured person or securing yourself during a climb, the right knot can be a lifesaver. It's a skill that every outdoor enthusiast should master. In this guide, we will learn some basic knots that every survivor should know. We'll cover knots for building shelters, securing gear, and setting up traps. Each knot will be explained step by step with clear instructions and visuals to help you master them. We'll make it easy with simple steps and clear pictures. You'll learn how to tie each knot correctly and understand when to use it. By the end of this guide, you'll have the confidence and skills to use knots effectively in any survival situation. So grab some rope and let's get started. With practice and patience, you'll become proficient in knot tying, a skill that will serve you well in the great outdoors. Before we start tying, let's talk about rope. Ropes have been an essential tool for humans for thousands of years. They have been used in various applications, from building shelters to securing loads, and even in recreational activities like climbing and sailing. Understanding the basics of rope can make a significant difference in how effectively you use them. Ropes come in different materials and sizes. The material of a rope can affect its strength, flexibility, and durability. Common materials include natural fibers like hemp and cotton, as well as synthetic fibers like nylon, polyester, and polypropylene. Each material has its own set of advantages and disadvantages, depending on the intended use. For survival, it's good to have a strong rope made of nylon or paracord. Nylon ropes are known for their high strength and elasticity, making them ideal for tasks that require a bit of stretch. Paracord, on the other hand, is lightweight yet incredibly strong, and it can be unraveled into smaller strands for various uses. These ropes are tough and can handle a lot of weight. This makes them perfect for tasks like building shelters, creating makeshift harnesses, or even for use in emergency situations where you need a reliable and strong rope. When we talk about knots, we use special words. Understanding these terms will help you follow along more easily. For example, the working end is the part of the rope that you actively use to tie the knot, while the standing end is the part that remains stationary. The working end is the part you use to tie the knot. This is the end that you manipulate to create the various shapes and loops needed for different knots. The standing end stays still. It's important to keep this end stable while you work with the other end to form the knot. A bight is a curve or bend in the rope. This term is often used when you need to create a loop or a bend without using the ends of the rope, and a loop is a circle made with the rope. Loops are fundamental in many knots and can be used for securing objects, creating handles, or even for decorative purposes. Knowing these terms will make it easier to follow the steps when we learn our knots. As we go through different knots, you'll see how these basic terms come into play and make the process more intuitive. Let's start with the simplest knot, the overhand knot. This knot is the foundation for many other, more complex knots. It's easy to tie and untie, making it a great starting point for beginners. To tie an overhand knot, take the working end of the rope and pass it over the standing end, then pull it through the loop you've created. Tighten the knot by pulling both ends of the rope. Practice this a few times until you feel comfortable with the motion. The overhand knot is as easy as it gets. It's the knot most people learn first. But don't let its simplicity fool you. This knot is the base for many other knots, and it has many uses in survival situations. Here's how to tie it. Make a loop with the rope. Pass the working end over the standing end, put the working end through the loop. Pull it tight. That's it. You just tied an overhand knot. You can use it to stop a rope from slipping through a hole. You can also use it to make a handle at the end of a rope. The square knot is a must-know for any survivor. It's a simple way to connect two ropes of equal thickness together. This knot is very useful for building shelters, tying bundles, or even in first aid situations. Here's how to tie it. Hold one rope in each hand. Cross the right rope over the left rope and then under it. Cross the left rope over the right rope and then under it. Pull both ends tight. Remember, right over left, left over right. That's the key to a secure square knot. Keep practicing and you'll be tying this knot like a pro in no time. The bowline, a loop you can trust. The bowline knot is famous for its strength. This knot creates a loop that won't slip, making it perfect for rescue situations or when you need a reliable anchor point. Here's how to tie it. First, make a small loop in the rope, then pass the working end up through the loop. Next, go around the standing end. After that, go back down through the loop. Finally, pull it tight. Think of it like this. The rabbit comes out of the hole, goes around the tree, and back down the hole. This knot is a lifesaver, literally. The clove hitch, securing two objects. In this section we will explore the versatility and reliability of the clove hitch knot, a fundamental skill for anyone who spends time outdoors. Need to tie something to a pole or a tree? Whether you're setting up a campsite, securing gear, or preparing for an emergency, the clove hitch is an essential knot to know. The clove hitch is your go-to knot. It's simple to learn, quick to tie, and incredibly effective. This knot is particularly useful because it can be tied with one hand if necessary, making it ideal in situations where you need to act fast. This knot is easy to tie and it holds tight, making it perfect for securing tarps, hanging equipment, or even building a shelter. The clove hitch is also adjustable, allowing you to reposition your rope without untying the entire knot, or even building a raft. When constructing a raft, the clove hitch can be used to bind logs together securely, ensuring that your raft stays intact as you navigate through water. Here's how to tie it. First, wrap the rope around the pole or tree. Make sure you have enough rope to complete the knot. 1. Wrap the rope around the pole. This initial wrap will serve as the foundation for your clove hitch. 2. Cross the working end over the standing end. This creates the first loop of the knot. 3. Wrap the working end around the pole again. This second wrap will help secure the knot in place. 4. Tuck the working end under the X you made. This step is crucial as it locks the knot, preventing it from slipping. 5. Pull it tight. Make sure the knot is snug and secure. The tighter you pull, the more secure the knot will be. Remember, the clove hitch gets tighter as weight is applied to it, making it very reliable in survival situations. This knot is particularly useful when you need to secure something quickly and efficiently, making it very reliable in survival situations. Whether you're in a survival scenario or just enjoying a day outdoors, the clove hitch is a knot that you can rely on. Its simplicity and effectiveness make it a must-know for anyone who loves the outdoors. The figure 8 knot, strong and secure. The figure 8 knot is another essential knot for any survivalist. This knot creates a strong stopper knot, preventing a rope from slipping through a hole or an anchor point. Here's how to tie it. 1. Make a loop with the rope. 2. Pass the working end around the standing end. 3. Bring the working end back through the loop. 4. Pull it tight. This knot is often used in climbing and sailing because it is easy to tie and untie even after being under tension. Using knots in the real world. You've learned 5 important knots. Now let's see how they work together in real survival scenarios. Building a shelter. Use the square knot to tie poles together. Use the clove hitch to secure a tarp to trees. Securing gear. Use the bowline to make a loop to hang your supplies from a branch. Use the figure 8 to secure the end of the rope. First aid. Use the square knot to tie a bandage. These are just a few examples. As you practice, you'll find countless ways to use these knots in your everyday life and outdoor adventures. Keep practicing. Congratulations. You've taken the first step to mastering essential survival knots. Remember, practice makes perfect. Keep a length of rope handy and practice these knots regularly. You can even teach them to your friends and family. There are many more knots to learn, each with its own special use, so keep exploring, keep learning, and stay prepared. You never know when these skills might come in handy. Stay safe out there.